Okay, so just to let you know, if this talk isn't great, it's because somebody canceled and I had to like put this to effect in like 2 hours ago. You can literally see it because everything from the Google templates are still in here. I'm just like putting stuff here. These are the things that I want to talk about. Anyway, that being said, Kubernetes network policy is the easy way. I heard Daniel talk a lot about Kubernetes, so we're gonna go Kubernetes theme. My name is Reza. I do organize these sort of events. I also wrestle with computers wherever I find them, in the cloud, in the bathroom, anywhere. If you see a computer, I'm there trying to tweak it. Now, first of all, before I get started, what is Kubernetes policy? So a Kubernetes policy is something like this. It's just a bunch of description that does something. There are 3 things that we need to care about, but the whole idea is if you create one of these and you have a CNI that can enforce it, it will try to enforce some sort of behavior. Maybe prevent some workloads to talk to something, or maybe allow or permit some workloads to talk to something. This is the whole idea. So basically, there's a header which tells Kubernetes what this is all about. Here, network policy. There's a part that says, all right, whatever the resource is with that name in that namespace, what should it evaluate against? Those are the selectors. So there's a pod selector, there's other selectors depending on what you're using. That's not the star of our show, but anyway, there's also direction. So you have the selector, now it knows what is to evaluate against. Then it goes into, all right, which direction? There's ingress that comes in, there's egress that goes out. And by the way, I've been battling with not just network policies for Kubernetes, but like firewall rules and those sort of stuff for like 30 years. I still get the direction wrong, so don't worry about it. Sometimes you do it the first time, sometimes it takes you like 10 tries to figure out which direction. But anyway, ingress and egress is usually about if the traffic is leaving, that is egress. If the traffic is coming to you and the policy is for you, then it's ingress. All right, so why Kubernetes sucks? My apologies. Why Kubernetes policy sucks? 2 different things. I have another sort of presentation about why Kubernetes sucks. That's another story. So first of all, YAML. I don't think I need anything to add here, but literally, if you indent something wrong, if you have something here, it will not tell you. It just, you need to get it right. And there are a lot of ways to get it right, but these are all cumbersome and these are all daunting. Like, you need to learn this whole thing before you can write a policy. So first of all, YAML. The other one, it is very expensive to check for any sort of problem or syntax issues if you're writing a policy. You literally have to apply the policy and the Kubernetes API server will tell you, all right, this thing is wrong. For example, the example that I showed you, there is a problem here, but it's literally like finding Waldo because even I cannot find it. And I've written this here. So again, match labels is not the problem. There's only one problem, which is this L needs to be capitalized. And it's not like this is incorrect. This is literally correct. It's just this little thing. So it is very expensive to find an issue. Even if you have like a correct sort of like policy, it's very difficult to find it. Now, there's no dry run. You either know what you have written or not. Like you literally know what is this policy is going to do or not. If you apply it, it does the thing that it's supposed to do or not. Maybe you secure your cluster or maybe you break the whole cluster down. Because again, You are, with a policy, you are actually trying to prevent or permit something. And there's a default. By default, Kubernetes allows everything to happen. The minute that you add a policy to that namespace, to those pods, the default becomes a deny. So every pod or workloads that was evaluated and didn't match your policy will be denied by default at the end. And that's sort of like an implicit deny at the end. Now, it is literally like a box of chocolates. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. You break the cluster, you don't break the cluster. You never know. You have to write the policy, apply it to figure out what's going on. Now, a lot of you are going to say, why don't you just use that AI, whichever AI, I don't know, Open AI or Cloud or whatever, doesn't matter. There is one problem here, which is I literally written a policy, gave it to AI, and I asked it, give me something that helps me to write this policy. This was what it wrote back. Now, if I want to do that, I will just write YAML. It would be way easier. It literally asks you to create a policy, but in the AI format. Now, that being said, you can write something that is close to this, for instance, like secure something for me and give me a network policy. It will give you something, but that something is usually, it's 70% right. Best model, 70%, whatever it gives you could be right. But again, right in terms of syntax, not right in terms of logic. All right, so at this point, I was frustrated because again, 30 years of firewalls and now Kubernetes, and I'm like, what if? So what if evaluation was not costly? What if before I wanted to apply it, I knew where is the problem? And even if I don't know anything about YAML, I could figure it out. Now, what if the syntax check was built in? I didn't have to send it to the server, take some time out of that HTTP server that is running to talk to the etcd database to give me back if this is correct or not, or if this can be implemented or not, or if this is something that is duplicated and it cannot do it because there is another policy that is correct with the same name. So what if that was built in? And the other one is, what if you could check the impact before deployment? So the dry run thingy. What if I could have all my workloads just be there, write my policy, and actually see what is happening? Because one problem for me is a lot of people are comfortable with code. I'm not. I'm old. I just want to see things and point at things and be like, oh, fix this or fix that. So that is my issue. It's a personal issue, but I sort of like to fix it. Now, so you have to meet my editor. I don't think anybody can scan QR codes with their eyes, so I'm just gonna show you what I had to do. So this was so irritating to me that I sort of wrote a whole sort of solution for it to fix it. So meet my editor. It is literally a playground for you to write policies and figure out what is wrong with it or what is not wrong with it. There's this editor that you can paste in your stuff in. It would tell you if the YAML is wrong or not, and it's not just like indentation. It literally tells you in this part of your policy, you need to find what is wrong. And again, I don't know about you, but I really don't know anything about computers. I would like my computer to tell me how to fix my thing. That is why I bought a computer. So again, quick fix, match labels. And now it actually fixed that for me. And I can figure out what is happening. So I can have this policy go to any workload that I have here and figure out what is this policy is doing to my workloads. And it literally tells you, all right, from internet, everything seems to be coming and going other than your backend here. And if I go to my backend, it would tell me, all right, every ingress is being denied. And if I check my policy, it is saying in the namespace prod, there is something called backend, and if it's ingress, it's going to be denied. Done. Now, one thing. There are some tutorials that walk you around this whole thing, but the most important thing here is the admin tier. So this is something that is that's going to be added to Kubernetes at some point. The whole idea is right now Kubernetes network policies only apply to namespaces, to a single namespace, and the admin network policy, it sort of applies to the cluster. Apologies, to all namespaces. And you can figure out how that works. It's literally a new sort of, where is it? It's a new policy. Oh, here. It is loading. So it's called Cluster Network Policy, and it has a couple of tiers, admin tier and base tier. And these tiers are, if there was something that could show you. All right. And these tiers are like folders. And when you write policies, it goes to these folders. And these folders give you priority. So you can, as an admin, have something that happens before every other policy. Or you can have something at the baseline, which happens after every policy. It sort of allows you to sandwich your developers into this forced sort of behavior and saying, maybe DNS could be only allowed to these services or servers. Or maybe you could only SSH into this one service. And everything else at the end is going to be denied. So figure out what are you doing with your servers. This is the whole idea. Now, you can do a lot more here. Obviously, there's like 19 tutorials that me and AI Genie worked on it. Everything makes sense, but a lot of these like written words are from AI because I literally still don't know where the comma goes. So I had to write something and put it to AI and be like, please correct it for me in terms of grammar. But anyway, this whole thing talks about what you can do and what you cannot do with cluster network policies. Network policies, you can literally write it, see its impact in the tiers in the namespace. And if you're into eBPF, Windows, HNS, iptables, or nftables, this is something that I always wanted. You can figure out what is this policy is going to compile into. So if it's eBPF, these are the actual BPF programs. Now, the actual one is going to be nonsense because it's assembly. But the cool one is like, oh, that assembly means this. If you're into Windows, it would tell you, all right, whatever policy you wrote is going to be this type ACL that is going to be applied to the firewall within HNS or within Windows. Literally tells you what is happening, in which direction, to what service. If you are into iptables, literally tells you the iptables command that you can copy paste, run it, it would do the same thing. And if you're into nftables, same thing. What the chain is, what is happening, everything is color coded, and you can find policies here. It would tell you this policy is going to the chain, it has the name, same thing. This is happening. By the way, everything here is happening in real time without any servers or Kubernetes. And that is the next part that I want to talk about, which is the one more thing part. So this whole thing that I showed you actually runs a simulation with an actual backend of Kubernetes that doesn't have any sort of cluster or anything running. We literally run the API server, run a CNI, and figure out what that CNI will do in terms of compiling that policy. And that CNI is Calico, which is amazing CNI. And it literally, where is it? Okay. So this whole thing, the simulation is running with two projects. One is telepathy. Literally everything that I showed you, you can actually implement it in your CI/CD. You can ask this engine, if I have this new policy, would it do what I want it to do? And it will give you, within your PRs or within your issues, the verdict, like you are trying to do this and it's gonna change from this to whatever it is. And so it's telepathy and Project Calico. Hopefully Project Calico is, wait, where is it? Project Calico. Calico. Now, why did I choose Calico instead of Cilium? Obviously, I know Calico. I've worked in Tigera for a long time, but that is not the only reason. Cilium only does eBPF. I wanted to know what happens in Windows, what happens in iptables, what happens in nftables. And Calico is the only CNI that can run each backend, regardless of which environment you choose. It literally have everything in it. These are all pluggable data planes that it runs. And with that, hopefully, if you have any questions, I think I might be able to answer it. If not, Daniel seems to be doing good with questions I can prompt in. Any questions? All right, that was easy.
How long have you been using this so far?
So the UI, I've been using it for like 2 months, but the backend, I've been using it for like a year or 2 years. The backend was actually that helped me figure out some customer issues. Because again, a lot of Kubernetes customers who were actually Calico customers wanted to know what that policy does. And they were not like trying to enable flow logs or any sort of thing that puts loads on their server. So I just prompted in here and be like, oh, what is happening? So around a year. And with that,